Tony Perkins had this to say on a radio program, saying that we're going to basically excuse Donald Trump. We're going to give him a mulligan. We're going to excuse a mulligan I don't play golf, so I had to Google it. But basically giving you another shot after you've messed up. You get another shot, right? And it's not going to count against you. And the co-host of the program, or the other gentleman on the program, and I'm going to play the audio as soon as I can pull it up. The other host of the program was like 70 years. You're going to give him a mulligan for 70 years of his life. You're going to essentially say, we don't care about any of the things that he's done that runs contrary to everything that we've been telling everyone else to do. You don't care about any of that. You're going to excuse it away because he's giving you what you want on policy. Which brings me to the second part of this conversation. How, Sway? What has Donald Trump done? Seriously, think about it. What has Donald Trump actually done to even satisfy the moral majority vein of the evangelical movement, the evangelicals? And this is not all evangelicals, right? But, I'm afraid that 37 to 40% who still support Donald Trump at this point is a combination of Nazis and Christians. I mean, think about that. Think about the company that they're in. And so how are you going to give this president, who's the exact opposite of everything that you believe in, how are you going to give him just another shot after 70 years of his life? He's built his entire persona on being egotistical, on being narcissistic, on being sexually promiscuous, sleeping with the wives of his friends because that's what life was all about. That's what was fun to him. And then say that you're giving him this excuse, you're giving him this second chance because he's somehow doing great things for Christians. The only thing Donald Trump has actually done for Christians is to give them lip service. Just like every other Republican president, it's to give them lip service. What has he actually done? They say that he's moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He hasn't. Right? Donald Trump signed the same exact waiver that President Obama signed to the legislation that says that they're going to allocate funds to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. They're not doing it. Obama did not do it, and neither has Donald Trump. Donald Trump wrote an executive order saying that he's going to do it, and the next week he signs a waiver saying that we're not going to do it right away. So what has he done any differently with regard? And even if you believe that is like something that's quintessentially important to your Christian faith, which it's not, even if you agree with the move, it is wrong, he actually hasn't even done it for you. So what has he done? What has he done with regard to abortion, right? If you're one of those people who believe that abortion should be illegal, which is asinine, but if you believe that they should be illegal, what has Donald Trump actually done for you? So I'm actually glad that he has not been able to do anything for you, because the things that he wants to do and the things that you want him to do are not only unconstitutional, they're just wrong. Right? They're just wrong. Instead of, I brought up the abortion issue, but I mean, this is not rocket science. People act like this is a very difficult thing to have a position as a Christian on abortion. You guys don't want to address the overwhelming reason that people have to make those decisions to get abortion. Right? If you actually looked at the data and saw how much poverty actually plays into the demand for abortion, hell, we didn't even have to go there. At last count, I believe it was 55% of people who receive abortions are Christian, either evangelical, Protestant, Catholic, whatever variation, they're Christians. So if Christians preach what they teach, we could see almost 50 to 55% reduction in abortion if they actually lived what they preach, right? So let's be clear about these things. Not only do I disagree with the agenda of the moral majority evangelical vein, it actually works out because Donald Trump hasn't even done anything for you. And yet, you're going to give this man who has shown himself to be one of the most, I don't even have the vocabulary. I'm a little rusty right now. I don't have the words to describe his character that not right now, because I'm still coming off of baby duty. But I don't have the words to describe him, but you know at your heart, at the core of you, that Donald Trump is an immoral man. And his administration is an immoral administration. The things that they're doing are wrong. But yet you're going to give him an excuse because he's doing everything that you want him to do when he's actually not doing it. Okay, so that's the backdrop. I'm going to try to play this audio. And this is 2 clips that I'm going to play. The first clip is of Tony Perkins saying what he said in his radio interview. And the second clip I'm going to play is of Michael Steele. Michael Steele was a former RNC chair, and this is what he had a lot to say in response to.
Evangelicals did not vote for Donald Trump based on his moral qualifications, but based upon what he said he was going to do and who he was surrounding himself with. We kind of gave him, all right, you get a mulligan. You get a do-over here. You can start.
A mulligan for 70 years of his life.
Hey, like the guy committed, this is what he's committed to.
Right.
And as long as he commits to that and continues on that, he will have the support of evangelicals. From a policy standpoint, he has delivered more than any other president in my lifetime.
I have very simple admonition at this point: just shut the hell up and don't ever preach to me about anything ever again. I don't want to hear it, because after telling me how to live my life, who to love, what to believe, what not to believe, what to do and what not to do, and now you sit back and if the prostitutes don't matter, the grabbing the you know what doesn't matter, the outright behavior and lies don't matter, just shut up.
In the audio, you hear him explaining that it's fine, it's totally okay for Donald Trump to be this way. For Donald Trump, because we're going to give him a pass because he's doing what we want him to do on policy. Let me ask you this, and this is something that someone said on MSNBC about it. This makes religious participation in politics no different than any political action group, right? It makes them no different than any other lobbyist, that they have zero concern about character and integrity, which is fine, right? And I think maybe this is beneficial. Maybe it's completely beneficial to have a president like Donald Trump to expose the hypocrisy of the evangelical conservative political movement, so that we can finally come to terms with this idea that America is a secular nation. It is a secular nation that allows religion to flourish, that won't interfere with your religious participation. Right, because the opposite is what they're trying to push, that America is somehow intrinsically a Christian nation, and that the Constitution really only applies to Christians, and that our laws should be based on Christian principle. And as fallacious as that is, that has been the prevailing thought amongst Christians. Ask me how I know, because I've been around them all my life. This has been a prevailing thought in Christianity for a very long time, and it has been weaponized into politics in a significant fashion since 1980 with the moral majority and Jerry Falwell Sr., now being carried on by his son, Jr. And so perhaps this is actually a really good thing, because now even Christians who are looking at this entire thing play out, they can see the level of hypocrisy of their leaders and come to terms with the reality that, you know what? America's not supposed to be a religious nation. America is a secular nation. And so we should not be forcing our moral code on people who don't willingly and voluntarily come down the aisles of our church, give their hand to the preacher, give their life to Christ. If a person doesn't want to do that, then we as Christians should not use our political participation to try to compel the nation to live the way that we live our lives. Let people live the way they want to live their lives. You would hope that this is actually a flashpoint for the people in the pews, because the leadership, people like Tony Perkins, Paula White, Robert Jeffress, Jerry Falwell Jr., Franklin Graham, all of these people, they are holding on to political power because it is a part of what makes them relevant. It's a part of what pays their bills. This is a career opportunity to them to continue promoting this farce of Christian participation in politics. They're never going to see the light because they're being paid not to. So it's going to be incumbent upon the people in the pews who choose to live their lives as Christians to look at their leaders, to look at their pastors who are promoting this and say, you know what? I can finally see now that when it comes to politics, you're full of shit. You might preach a good sermon on Sunday that's good and edifying for my soul. But when it comes to politics, you're a hypocrite. And when it comes to politics, you are serving the Republican Party to the detriment of everything else that's in the Bible. I mean, if we're really going to go through the Bible and look at all the things that Jesus said do and what the Bible says do, then there's a lot of people who are still in debt that we've come past several years of Jubilee where everybody's debt should be erased. I mean, if we're going to celebrate anything out of the Bible, why the hell are we not using that? If we're going to try to enforce some Christian principle, then why will we not do that? Because debt and interest, usury, which is a sin in the Bible, is what makes capitalism work. And so long as Christians don't bother the king over his money and how he gets his money, then the king will let Christians do whatever the hell they want to do. Republican Party. Proxy for the king in that. You got it.